Alright, this is going to be a quick one. Well, relatively quick. It's going to be one seed. I'm going to be a little bit more verbal in my decision making. If any of you watching either live or the VOD are interested in Rando, I'm hoping to offer some assistance for your routing choices in that regard. So let's roll a seed here. It's going to be Town Rando. I'm going to use Simon Claus for these tutorials. Call it Amber Tutorial 01. Custom text, no modifiers, standard logic. All right, we're ready to go. Roll the seed. All right, here we go. All right, we got this up. All right, here we go. All right, something I do that's, I think, a little bit unique. I don't see anyone else doing this, is I always just check the first check only. And here at Sacred Flame, not a great first check. It's kind of an irrelevant. Kind of irrelevant to a game plan. I mean, if you need a sub weapon, I mean, it'll do, but it's not really part of an A plan. So we're in what I call Berkjava, which is either Berkeley or Algebra, and this water here immediately means that we're in Berkeley. Berkeley is not a great start, and I'm not seeing great enemies to farm out this way, although this actually would be... that's not good. Having a sub-weapon may actually be very useful there. So I just like to scope out the land. Sometimes I can level up there, very rarely. Other times I can even get to the next town. So I get some information before it's nightfall, and then I come back here and I find out, oh, there's a whip there, that's good. And we also find out that there is a nail. Okay, so this is actually an important decision-making factor, particularly in a Berkeley start. Having a block breaker means that the Dabby's path check is available. So when you go this way, the only town or mansion this way is the Algebra. So I warp back for around nightfall. The only town or mansion would be the Algebra location, and if that's all you got, it helps to have access to also the Dabby's path. That just increases the odds of getting stuff by going that way. And so I do a normal grind. So there are 4 hit zombies. The zombies rolled up. We're going to get that whip as soon as possible. It's a good idea to never impulse buy something that you're ultimately going to need, like an oak stake or laurels or holy water even. If there's a whip, you always want to get that first. Oh, ooh. You always want to get that first because it will necessarily reduce the number of hits and thus the amount of time you spend grinding. I'm gonna actually play this a little bit safe. Just I'm notorious for not being able to avoid that death, like on the last possible hit. All right, now that I got the level up, that's good. Another thing that factors into the mix in my head is being a Berkeley start. It means that everything to the right is level 2. Everything to the right is level 2. I actually don't like to farm once I've gotten the first level because I'm not getting any experience points. But I think the time I would spend to go out and then come back in just to get a few extra hearts will not justify it. So I'm just gonna do this. I should have enough for the nail. Actually, I don't think I do. Let's just see here. I do. Okay. So another factor that will encourage me to go right is if I go left, I'm not going to get experience points. If I go right, I will. And you do want to get to level 2 as quickly as possible. So that whip will help me, even though it's nightfall. This is not a premier grind spot. This is like a B- in terms of a grade that I can give to it. In fact, it's not even worth spending any time in one spot. These might be worth it. And that's always good when you can get. Unfortunately, these are still going to be big. And now they're half hits as well, so... So you want to try and find a grind spot like this. Like this is like an A- grind spot. Maybe a B+, but not an A because the enemies are a little awkwardly placed. You keep getting like that one that misses. You want to look for a repetition. And obviously, high yields. Oh, I got to jump off. The fireball is in its mouth. Alright. Another reason why I'm not interested as much, and again, this is a game of odds. Like you will sometimes make the you'll make the best decision in the circumstance, but it won't be the right decision. But it's sort of like playing poker, is if you make the best decision as much as possible and manage your risk effectively, you'll succeed. So what are the reasons which decreases my interest in the Vero spot is the Vero spot can only be a one-story town or mansion. So that means any of the 5 mansions, or it could be... Okay, so we have an oak stake nearby. That's good to know. It could be Veros, but it's extremely unlikely. Things being in their vanilla spot is weighted extremely low. So it could be Yomi, which would be useless. It could be Doina, which would be a decent place. It's only one check, but it's a free check. You don't need a block breaker. But it's most likely going to be a mansion, unless you have an oak stake, which I now have. It's less attractive. And again, that's the name of the game, is just how much more or less attractive does a decision become based on all the information that's available to you. Alright, so I actually haven't died yet, which is kind of nice. Now, another thing which would have increased the attractiveness of going all the way to Algebra, the Algebra spot, would be the presence of garlic, because then you can get the garlic check on the other side of town. This is a good find. Okay, Ondol does have one check that you don't need a block breaker for. But also, because I've got the nail and the zombies rolled down, this might be a good level 3 grind spot as well. But I can actually full clear Ondol. So it's my belief, and I don't think this is very controversial, it's that you should always try and full clear a place. Aside from, and getting the chain whip early is pretty good. Aside from, you know, just the speed, being able to mentally check a place off that you don't have to come back will assist. The fewer things you have to keep in your head, the better. I mean, you see behind me there's this board that I use to track things. Certainly, it's good to write it down. I know Opry uses a handwritten map. You should have some tracking system in place, but when you get better at it, and it's not like in a competitive format, I don't think you really need to use one, but the less information you jam into your head, the more you can remember the stuff you need to remember. Well, I'm getting big lag here. Like, the lag's like preventing my whip. Wow, like this is just a weird kind of like lag coming in waves too. I've never really experienced this. The Ondol store is annoying. It's got a double room. Like, you go through the room, you go into a second room all the way through that, and into a third room to the end to get the vendor. So it's nice that once I get whatever's there or see what's there, I'm just going to warp right out and take the next leg of my strategy. So at this point, while I'm grinding or doing anything at this time, I should be turning my mind to the next leg of my strategy. So certainly what I get, if I get anything in that store, that could alter what I'm about to do, but I want to kind of limit my options so that I know what I'm going to do unless something really changes my mind. So we got the chain whip, which pretty much gives us free reign around the whole map. You know, nothing is too daunting. We have an oak stake. We might even consider, with 3 lives and an oak stake, an early cemetery jump. I wouldn't warp back then. Now, Opry, who's, I think, watching, or maybe he's watching, maybe he's not, but I'm sure he loves the idea of an early cemetery jump. That would be, you know, that would be breaking logic, and I know there are some people like Freeland who love to break logic quickly and early and often. I do too, but there needs to be... Alright, well, that garlic does now change our strategy, does make it almost a no-brainer to not warp out and to go to the grave, to the cemetery. So, now that I'm going out this way, the cemetery jump, which I was sort of toying with the pros and the cons, now, a con would have been I wasn't going to be going here. I was going to be warping out for time. That's not an issue anymore. So we got laurels, which actually is needed. We need laurels. Okay, I made it first try. We would, I think, tend to need... I mean, with level 3, you might be able to make it across without laurels, but it would be risky. If I had only 1 life, I might not have done that. I'm not as consistent with the cemetery jump as... What the fuck? Alright, this is a great find early on. I can clear 2 of the 3 checks here. The downside to that is it will leave this lingering concern that I didn't clear check. So, just going back to what I was saying before though. Alright, so we got holy water. This was a great payoff in this decision. What I was going to say before, when I said that some people like to break logic faster than others, is that this is not a entry-level decision. You definitely don't want to do this unless you've got a good game plan as to why. I'll get that. Why not? Alright, so now that I have holy water, though, I can actually... I just said I could only clear 2 of the 3. I can now full clear this place. And so this is actually a fantastic... Again, this could sometimes not pan out, right? You could do this and find Yomi over here. Or find Bodley Mansion with 2 useless items if you choose to go in there. I mean, I probably would have faded it. So finding holy water is a big deal, and especially since it's in the Laruba spot. It wouldn't be unlocked until you get the red crystal otherwise. Alright, and being in the algebra spot, I mean, if we had blob boosted here, we'd often go to the algebra spot through the swamp. So now look, we got the whip. We're ready to go this way. I still haven't died yet. Oh, I didn't get the sacred flame yet. Look at that. All right, Doina. Something I want to work on a little bit is measuring distances to try and optimize. For example, would it take more time for me to exit this store from the ground floor, come all the way back up and go back up to the top, or would it be better to warp? I'm not actually sure for that specific, for that decision. All right, so we found an oak stake there. It's not, it's possibly useful. So we'd be out of the store by now. We'd probably be across town by now. And we wouldn't be up the stairs. So this was probably the right decision. This seed's actually going extremely well. One of my better seeds recently. Oh, that was not well executed, but... Alright, first mansion, what have we here? Not what I want to necessarily see, but we'll do it. Another benefit to full clearing Laruba is we don't have to go back there. We don't need to blob boost. I mean, we can always warp back to Algebra to get to that area. And we can use the tornado. We don't need to cemetery jump again. I'm going to probably invest a little bit of time taking the long and medium out of the way hints. We're still early on. We're making great pace. And I want to see if I can get some information. Unfortunately, most of the time the information doesn't pan out. Of course, the further in... Okay, Laurel's for sale in Rover. That decreases the attractiveness of Rover unless you really need Laurels. What is going on here? The lag. There have been a lot of good hard places. I mean, if this continues to like Brahms and through certain other areas, not Brahms, but other areas like the Ruba, we might get level 4 without too much effort. Laurels are free in the Devious Woods, so we could also rule... We can go straight right when we tornado, because we do not need Devious Woods. What happened there? Laurels are free in Laruba. So Laurels in Laruba. Vanilla Laurels in Laruba. Laurels in Vendor for Bodley. And Laurels in the Devious Woods. Love to see the heart right now. I would not like to see something that's unessential. Alright, Crystal. That's good. I'm actually thinking this... What that tells me, though, this might be a seed where we end up fading. So there's a really cool floor drop you do right there. My megapixel was just perfect. I might end up fading the rover spot, depending on what I find. Like, if I find the red crystal... I don't know what just fucking happened there. That was some good RNG. That thing would have knocked the shit out of me. Good call, Opry. want to burn through laurels, and I kind of want to stay alive. We'll get a look at the lay of the land. Alright, so this is actually a doable dead river without laurels. But I'm kind of liking having not died yet. It'd be kind of cool if I could make it through an entire seed without dying. I'm going to actually be able to refill my health too when I am in this town. So Varos is a great... Like, everything is going remarkably well in this seed so far. I mean, for the purposes of this tutorial, that's great, although it won't always go that way. Crystal sealed in Berkeley's orb. Thank you, game. Get the golden knife. Why not? Of course, this is a great place to grind if you need hearts. You can do the 5 zombie grind. So I'm still on my first life, which is kind of cool. This is the longest I've ever lasted in a rando seed without dying. Let alone game overing, let alone dying. And Varos, of course, that was a holy water locked room, the last one. This one is a nail or holy water locked room. Alright, so we got an oak stake, which, you know what? We need one, so that's good. The oak stakes are planted in so far, a good pattern. So one in Dabby's path, one here, and one down in the Varos location. Now the graveyard duck is somewhere you like to go, but the attractiveness of that has gone down because we do not need to blob boost. If blob boosting was part of the strategy, we might. If we had started in Ondol, for example, now that we have the blue crystal, if we want to go to the rover location, if an Ondol start would have made blob boost very helpful, not just to gain information, but to access the rover area quickly. But now that I hope this is Laruba. That's bronze. Almost as good. Now that I have full cleared the Laruba spot, and I can easily warp back to Algebra. There's really no benefit in blob boosting at this point. So, there's another example of making it a little bit less attractive to go down to the graveyard duck. Wait a minute, didn't I get the blue crystal? Oh, I thought I had the blue crystal. Oh. Well, I will not be going back to when I said that the rover location was unlocked, that might not have been the case. I think I just screwed up my subject, so I did. Whippers for sale in Rando, we knew that. Thank you, game. The heart. Here comes the walk of shame. I just haven't been able to get it lately. I was getting it like 50-50 for about a week, and now I haven't gotten it for the last little while. Yeah, walk of shame. Throw the goose in there as well. I don't need to crit. I don't need to crit death. The laurels, okay. Too much scrolling. I went too far. Okay, we don't really need garlic. So this was... I mean, the heart made it not a bust. Picked up an extra laurel there. I mean, I have a choice now. I could fade the graveyard duck. And I actually think that the odds are... Well, actually, I'm not sure. It's one of those situations where I think there's a reasonable chance it might have nothing. I don't know why I did that. But I am probably going to go to it. The other option is to go back to the Dead River, where I'm going to use the heart to access the bronze location. Almost got it. Diamond for sale in Alba. That's the plan. That's the move. That's where I arrive at. That's what the odds favor. But I do think that there's a reasonable chance, like a 40-60 chance, that the duck is, but I mean 60 is better than 40, so I think that's where my mind calculates the odds at. But 40% means that there's a good chance that it doesn't have anything. But it's not too out of the way. Ugh. That might actually cost me my first death. First try. This would have been a decent boost situation with all those Medusa heads. Alright, so oak steak, not bad. I mean, I think I already had one, but actually, no, I just used one in Braum. So these oak steaks are conveniently placed. I gotta do this right. We might actually be able to refill our life in Varos. We could have also gotten an oak stake back this way, I believe. With the extra laurels I got, I think I might take the safe way across. Just 'cause I kind of like protecting this 0 death run. Oh, you know what? I'm not gonna chance it. Now, the odds favor. Actually, no. No. The reason why is it's looking like I'm gonna end up with the red crystal, so I'm not gonna want to warp out of Laruba. So that's interesting. Normally I would do Rad Mountain first, so that once I finish Laruba, I can warp out of Laruba. I am probably going to not want to warp out of Laruba because I'm going to need to go back to Deborah's Cliff. So let's see what these 4 checks shake out. I mean, theoretically, I get 2 crystals and 2 parts, and then I might want to fade Vrad Mountain, which would be a higher risk, higher reward play. I mean, I'm looking at my time, and I'm making decent time. Okay, blue crystal, that's good. So I mean, warping may actually be on the table now, just because the rover location. If I don't get too much here, the rover location might not be something we wish to fade, unfortunately. So I'll actually be able to get laurels down here, so that's fine. Yeah, vanilla laurels. We knew that. Okay, red crystal. We are going to stick around here. I'm not going to warp out. I'm going to fade the rover location. You can always come back. Ugh, I could have gotten that in 2 cycles. Silver knife, garbage. Alright, let's head on out of here. And you know what? I am going to take the safe route of checking Brad Mountain. I am fading the bridge too far, as Opry put it the other day when I faded. What did I fade? Like Rover, Laruba, Berkeley, Algebra, and and Veros. And it almost worked. I think I was one of those needed to be done. Eyeball. So this was the right move. If it was a race setting, it would be justifiable to, if you thought you were behind, potentially fade it, but I think I would have only faded it if I was going to warp back. And if I was going to warp back, I would have probably done it first. I wouldn't have faded it, so I don't think the case is really strong for fading it. Yeah. Still on my first life. And for that reason, I don't want any shenanigans. I'm going to Laurel across. We don't need to go to we don't need to go to Devious Woods. Yeah, let's hope that. I don't think it is, but... Ooh, yeah, that's a good idea. I actually thought of that, and I took my mind off the ball for a second. This is why I like to have my board in front of me. It keeps a color-coded list of magnets in my face, but that's fine. Thank you, Opry. So we need to cross the rib in the ring. The rib would be nice. Fuck. Holy water's free in Alba. That early logic break is a key to this being a much faster seed. I think I'm gonna have to do Bodley. This is gonna bring me. This won't be Bodley, but I think Bodley is ahead of us. Yeah, hopefully Bodley's in Rover. I mean, I love fading Bodley, but if I come across it next, my thesis requires me to do it. So I'll stick with my thesis. Ring is for sale now. Oh, we need Algebra to be next. Yeah, I'll have to do the vendor. Unless I get steak for steak right here. Oh, that's a shame. Alright, I see what that is. Eyeballs free in the Bad Mountain. What is going on here? Would have been nice to sub 50 this, but thought you couldn't see you there. Yowzes. It could. Probably doesn't. Oh, why am I going this way? Fuck. Had a little moment. Had a little moment there. Had a little moment where I thought I was in algebra. Sacred Flame 4. Ah, thank you. Not just a 6 and a 9, but a 69. Thank you for those biddies, Opry. Alright. 1 for 1. Now, what's the fastest way? I don't want a cemetery jump again. That's what I was thinking. Oh, and Berkeley, not even algebra. Never mind. Never mind. Why is algebra cemetery? Oh, what am I doing? Should do this guy first. Actually, you know what? No, I'll do this guy first. Rib 2 for 2. Get a little bit extra hearts there. So we are going to Bodley. I don't like having no laurels, though. Oh, I thought it was 214, 214. Oh, 241. I'm very close to a level up. I'm gonna go, if I only need one, I'm gonna go... I mean, I'm not breaking any records for time or anything. So I'm gonna go orb first. Okay, these are paying out. I actually wanted to get that after this. I wanted to get it here. Oof. At this point, my mission is to do this deathless. I don't think I've ever seen anyone do a deathless run. I thought I was reading on like one of the discords or something, like someone was asking if anyone's ever done one. And no evidence was provided of one. I could get those laurels, but I'm not gonna cheese that. Hidden staircase. Hey, shut up. Oh yeah, it's go time. Gonna be happy-go-lucky with the golden knives now. I'm like 25% of the way to level 5. Is there actually any evidence of anyone ever doing a deathless seed? I mean, in fairness, I know lots of people, if they did this seed, would probably be able to do it deathless. Like, this seed was handmade for deathless. Shut it! Fuck yeah! Oh, thanks for the GGs, Sewer Husk. Sewer Husk. Oh, Opry, thank you for gifting my pal Sewer Husk a gifted sub. You are always appreciated, Opry. And the 100 biddies. Thank you so much. I mean, like I said, I mean, obviously, I'm very proud of a Deathless run, a Deathless seed. But I'm sure there are lots of great Castlevania players. If they did this exact seed, would also do a Deathless. It was a very good seed. I sort of like, once I realized I was sort of going for Deathless, I stopped giving my strategy as much. But I mean, the further you go into a seed, the more the routing decisions are made for you. Yeah, I mean, I remember reading somewhere on Reddit or in a Discord, someone wondering if it was ever done, and no one could find evidence of that. If you wish you hadn't seen it? Oh, because, yeah, that's true. Oh, this is, I'm taking a screenshot of this. All right, I'm going to put that into, send that to me here. I'm gonna Aubrey. While I'm doing this, anybody on that I should raid out to? Just gonna do one more thing here. All right, I am done for the day. Let me just see who's online. J Dirk doing some stuff there. All right, let's take a look here at who's on. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna post that. I mean, it'll kind of knock me down a little bit when like a flurry of people get Deathless as well. But yeah, again, like I know, it was an easy seed in that regard. So actually, you know what? I'm gonna raid my good friend Peter. Because I want to tell him about this Deathless seed, so I'm going to go right now. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I will see you all soon.